Daika, Legend of a Warrior, Part 2. They are attacking! Scream soldiers. Screams are heard as the cannonballs pass through the torsos of 20 men. Get to your positions! Screams frantically Tokugawa Yasu. Return fire! Return fire! Do not let them through! You have to hold the line! He takes his horse and mounts it. Rifles! Rifles! Return fire now! The rifles get into their organized lines, firing under pressure. But more importantly, they fire with great accuracy, picking off each of the enemy grenadiers. Toyotomi counters with 3 times more rifles, killing all of Tokugawa's riflemen. Now that Tokugawa has lost all of his gunpowder units, Toyotomi sends in all his swords. The swords charge in, and they think that victory is theirs. As they get nearer to Tokugawa's lines, 2 of the soldiers notice that there are painted white markers on the ground. As soon as the bulk of the men cross the white marker, Hattori Toga orders his 3,000 archers to send volley after volley of arrows. This completely halts the charge of Toyotomi's men, as he stands witnessing 15,000 of his men die. The arrows are ruthlessly efficient, striking that fatal blow instantly. Only those with shields and other shielding are spared. Tokugawa, tasting sure victory, and with nearly his full army, charge in with swords to finish off his severely weakened foe. And, like a deer in the headlamps, Toyotomi stands in fear, with muted voice tones of his generals urging him into action. Closer and closer, Tokugawa gets to his man, both of them looking into each other's eyes, as the blood of other men on Tokugawa's face. But with a slap to his face, Toyotomi calls in his reserve forces. They are beings that can only be described as less than human. From the right flank of the forest comes the troll horde of Shinjo. They are a brutal group, known for their savagery. They come in all shapes and sizes, and their leader is more or less more like human than the others. He has long green hair, red skin, and black eyes. He stands 8 feet tall, and his right hand, although human size, his left hand is 3 times bigger. His enemies fear him for his blade, a 6-foot sword. On the left flank comes the Wolf Riders, a race of enchanted humans riding 6-foot-tall black fur wolves. These 2 groups divide Tokugawa's forces and pull back as orderly as possible. Tokugawa orders Toga's arrows to provide cover, but it serves little effect. The arrows hit their targets, but it does not slow the enemy down. When they catch up to the retreating men, they are gutted, some torn in half, and others eaten whole. Tokugawa orders his men to form a phalanx to hinder the progress of the enemy. Toga and his men join the fight. Toga's clan are masters in the ki. Much like Qi from China, they possess enormous inner strength and can project the ki force. Like a gust of wind, they can repel sword blows and knock the enemy off their feet. This, however, only has a momentary effect, but then even they begin to lose ground. Then Tokugawa Yasu calls out to Hattori Toga. He tells him that it is time for the Osaka, the family of fire, Tokugawa calls the Osaka his secret weapon. Toga makes the call. He blows his clan's horn, and with only 3 seconds after doing so, a massive blast of flames shooting from the right side of the battlefield creates a safe barrier between Tokugawa's forces and the non-humans. From the attack's perspective, they are confronted with a large wall of fire. Crashing through it, though, is the leader of the Osaka clan, Osaka Takuma. His double-sided axe, covered with flames, claims his enemies. Takuma is joined by the rest of his clan, including the famous women warriors known for their tenacity and their naganatas. The troll leader Shinjo Yabuka escapes, with blade slashes and fireballs engulfing all whom they touch. The battle is over in minutes. The firewall collapses, leaving only the Osaka and Tokugawa's men standing and drenched in the blood of the others. Toga's men, too, are ecstatic for the victory, for they have all destroyed the opposing enemies and non-humans alike. The victors cheer loudly. Toga and his men kneel before Tokugawa. Tokugawa-sama, I present you with your victory. Ieyasu is well pleased and is free to continue his plans of taking control of all Nippon. Much later after the battle, Toga arrives at his encampment, bouncing on the back of his horse, ready for the feast. The feast before the big feast. One of his riders comes in with a message from his wife back at their home. The message reads, "All is safe. All have made it home." At least this makes him happy. But just then, Tokugawa's rider enters the camp. "Toga-sama," says Tokugawa's rider. "Tokugawa requests your audience in 2 hours. Please do not make our master wait." The rider leaves as quickly as he has arrived, leaving Toga in a quandary. Is Ieyasu going to reward him, or will he kill him and his family? All the same, he must go to fulfill the request, but only with a plan in place. At Tokugawa's encampment, Ieyasu is preparing for his body massage. He is very happy about today's events, and soon joined by his mystic man. "Ah, Ibanishi, very good of you to join me. Are the preparations for the feast near complete?" "Yes, Ieyasu-sama," says the mystic man. "Good. And what about the sacrifice to the dragon?" "Yes, that as well," answers his mystic man. "Good. There is no need for you to sit down." "Ieyasu-sama, I am here to warn you. You must not give Hattori Toga any rewards. He may one day use it to take power from you." Tokugawa was not sure and is confused by this statement. "What are you talking about? Why do you say this? The Hattori clan is my closest ally. They have all used all their resources to make me their leader, and I am here today because of them." "Forgive me, Ieyasu-sama, But that is what I am talking about. They have so much power. Some of the men say that is because the Hattori control the Osaka. It is they that possess the true power, not yourself. I fear for you. I fear that one day your life will be taken. Is that what you hear? Did you hear anything else? Do not worry. To fix this situation, you must show all who has the true power. You must order the Osaka to execute all of the Hattori, no matter where they may be. Leave it to me, says Tokugawa, thinking. I will think on these things. The mystic man bows, and he exits. The thought of a possible usurper steadily enrages Yasu, so much so that he can no longer take his massage. A long while later, the festivities are underway. There are 500 wild boar that are being roasted over an open flame. While some soldiers stand guard on the outskirts, the rest are having a jolly old time, some of them even cavorting with prostitutes. Toga and 3 of his men walk along the party, taking in all the sights. Toga warns his men to be on their guard. They all sit at a table and are immediately served. His men dig into the sumptuous meal while Toga himself scans every approach. He spots Yasu staring at him from a distance, holding a blank glance. But as soon as Tokugawa looks away, his servant invites only Toga to come up to meet his master. Toga reminds his men to be on guard. In Yasu's tent, Toga is welcomed with open arms, with hugs and cheek kissing. Toga, my friend, says Yasu Tokugawa, please sit down. Toga is given sake by a beautiful geisha. She catches his eye, and with those eyes, he uses them to follow her as she walks away. Do you think she is beautiful? Chuckles Tokugawa. Yes, responds Toga. I suppose that some of my men find her attractive, beautiful even. Personally, I think she looks like a donkey. But maybe I'm biased. I think because there is no woman on this land that looks more beautiful than my wife. Toga can only smile as he takes a big sip of his sake. After a few moments of looking at Toga, Yasu finally opens his mouth. But that is not why I brought you here. I summoned you to reward you with the reward that I promised your brother Hanzo. He was my greatest friend, and I miss him so much. When I told him that it was my vision to rule all of Nippon, under the Emperor, of course, he welcomed this idea. He gave me every ounce of his blood, every ounce of his sweat, and every ounce of his tears, all to make sure that I, Tokugawa Yasu, becomes the greatest ruler in all of history. What do you think? I feel lucky to be in your presence, Sama, answers Toga. Very, very good answer, retorts Tokugawa. And with a rushing wind, the voice of the Orinoco dragon travels onto the wind and into Toga's ears. He warns Toga that it is over. His men below have just been killed by Tokugawa's men, and he is told that he is next. Now Toga, sensing great danger and a threat to his life, devises a plan that he has to get out of there and before Tokugawa's men descend on him. Tokugawa looks at Toga, sensing his fear, and with a great smirk on his face, Tokugawa speaks to Toga. You seem very distracted. Am I boring you? Is there something the matter? No, Tokugawa-sama. Nothing is wrong. I am having a lovely time here. Really? Because it looks as if you've seen a ghost. Just then, Iyasu's men burst into the tent, all stopping to look at Toga. I am sorry, my friend, says Tokugawa. Something, or rather someone, has told me that you will seize power from me. Toga draws his sword. Why would you think that? I would never do that to you. We have no desire for power, no desire for responsibility. We are just farmers. Tokugawa is not listening. He doesn't care. And he lets out a massive belly laugh. Just farmers, you say? You are fearless warriors that command the most powerful weapons of all the ages. You have the very ingredient needed to seek power and to be feared. Even beyond those borders, no one is safe. That is, no one is safe as long as you and your family exist. Toga is very angry. He's looking around, seeing which possible exits or possible moves and measures he must take. What will you do? He asked Tokugawa. What will I do? Sanitize the infection, of course. Yasu's men attack. Toga is in a fight for his very own life. These are Iyasu's most skilled assassins, forcing to fight Toga his hardest fight. Iyasu laughs, very deep belly laughs, as the battle continues. One by one, Toga smashes through the 7 men. In his mind, he knows that he can finish the job. And just as one more of them are left to defeat, 10 more assassins come up to block Hattori's path. Rather than risk it, Toga unleashes the key. With this, he knocks down all of those who oppose him. This ability was a closely guarded secret, one that has been taught to the whole of the Hattori clan. But by the look on Tokugawa's face, he had no idea of its existence. Toga escapes, giving just a slight glance back at the stunned Iyasu, in which all he can do is watch Toga ride away. Snapping out of his trance, he screams for the Osaka to be brought before him. Toga gallops at full speed. Back in Tokugawa's tent, the leaders of the Osaka bow before their new master. He orders them to completely wipe out the Hattori from the face of the earth, and to bring him Toga's head. They comply with their loyalty to Tokugawa, and they go out about their business. Toga reaches his camp and rallies his men to flee with him. They all gather their things, take their mounts, and leave the camp in just 2 minutes. They must now prepare for the long fight ahead. They must use every trick to save themselves from the coming unrelentless force. That was Daika, Legend of a Warrior, The Battle of Sekigehara, Part 2.